Well, I had so much fun with the iMunsa MP3 player, I thought, you know what? Let's try something else. And then that brings in the Fiio SnowSky MP3 player. And this is what's next. Now, this particular MP3 player is still selling thousands of units a month according to the Amazon listing, and it's still roughly $30 for this particular unit. And I've watched a couple other videos in regards to this one, and I thought, you know, let's do a compare contrast, right? We know that this one is $30, and this particular one here, the SnowSky Echo Echo, is $59.99 or $60. So for that, what, $30 difference, are you getting a better quality unit? Or if you were just wanting a basic MP3 player, will the iMunsa work for you? I don't know. But the first thing that we want to do is we want to get this one unboxed, load some music on it, and then I'm going to try it for a day, and I'll report back to you on my thoughts on this unit. So let's get started and get this one open. Here we are at the end of February, and I bought this thing back on November 13th of last year, but hey, finally getting around to it. So yeah, we have this SnowSky Echo Mini is what this one is called. High-res audio here on the lower part of the package. It's the sky blue model. I do like that this unit has kind of got a cassette player vibe. So that's kind of cool. We have nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom. On the side, we have the Echo Mini there, and then SnowSky there. And then on the back, a little bit more graphics, lots more blue. And then we have our official Fiio sticker right there. So enough talking. Let's go ahead and get this opened. Definitely packed well. Let's take this out. All right, first impressions, I do like that. That is really cool. I love that color. If we take this out, it's definitely small. You can see here that we got our TF card, or I was going to say micro SD card, your USB-C, obviously for charging. And then we have headphone jack, balanced output jack, little reset switch there. This doesn't do anything on the back. It looks like it's a battery compartment, but the battery is built in, so nothing there. And then here are your buttons. A lot lighter than I thought it would be. All right, so that's what you get there. We have this foam packaging, so it's in the packaging very well. And then we have a box. There is our USB-A to USB-C power connection. We have a quick start guide. Looks like some maybe warranty information in multiple languages. So looking at the Amazon listing on this product, one of the things is that if you connect up that USB port and you run your headphone out through this intermediary could be a DAC. It'll output 250 millivolts through the jack when you are connected up through the USB-C connection. It does support a variety of audio file formats, WAV, FLAC, MP3. You can connect it to Bluetooth if you want. This is Bluetooth 5.3 with this unit here. According to the site, this has about 15 hours of playback. It also supports a micro SD card up to 256 gigabytes, but it does have 8 gigabytes of storage built into the system. Let's get this thing booted up. Press and hold the power button for a second or two. And there we see the SnowSky logo. It's booting up. Fiio owned brand. And there we go. There's our interface. So we have multiple options down here at the bottom. If we go to the far left option, and I'm using the back and forth button here, or the rocker, and you'll notice that that is for file browser. We also have playlist navigation, music playback, music settings, and last but not least, system settings. If we go back to here, and I think that button here, you enter the option. No, that's just for system settings, so it doesn't matter where you go. Let's look at the system settings real quick. You have Bluetooth settings. We have screen settings, so there's a timeout and a brightness option there. Shutdown settings, power off timers and power saving shutdown. There is a date and time option. There is interface styles, and then we have our language. We have information. This looks like it's hardware version 1.3, software version 2.5. Currently we have 6.98 gigabytes available. Supported audio. These are the different audio types. It looks like we have WAVE 24-bit, FLAC 24-bit, APE 24-bit, MP3, OGG, M4A, and WMA. And then it says no support for Super Audio CD and DTS. Reset all settings. We can format the disk, and you also can format your TF cards. So that is the menu system there. If I press this back button, we should be able to go back to the menu, and there we go. Well, this isn't going to do us any good unless I get music loaded, so let's try that. We have the USB-A to USB-C cable plugged in right here, and there is our MP3 player, the SnowSky, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to plug that in, and we're going to see if we get... All right, so that's the charging. So now the question is this going to show up on my computer? And it's not. Well, I thought maybe we'd just give it a shot and see what happens. But right now, I'm not getting anything on this Mac. I'm currently using, it's an older one, Monterey 12.7.6. This is just an older MacBook Air. But yeah, I'm not getting, can't seem to access the built-in storage. Well, after some finagling, I figured it out. I was using the wrong USB cable. This is one that I had from another product. And it's just a power. So it was just recharging the battery. This one here actually is working. This is the one that came with the unit. So be cognizant of the fact that, yes, it may have a USB-A and USB-C connection on the back. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do data transfer. Might just be for power. Anyway, so we do have this thing running. This is basically USB 2 speeds, so it's not very fast. So just keep that in mind, which now I just ejected the disk there. That was my bad. Well, good. So now that that did what it did, let me go ahead and plug this back in again, and you're going to see what the interface, see, it says USB-A or DAC, data or DAC, so we're just going to keep it on data, and it should show up here. There it is. I am babbling right now. Let me get the rest of these things copied, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with this tonight, listen to some music. We'll do a comparison between this unit and the iMunsa, and then my impressions on this SnowSky MP3 player. Well, I've had a night to play around with this. I did connect these to Bluetooth headphones, and the sound quality from it was, I think, a little bit better than the iMunsa MP3 player. So I got used to the controls a little bit more. That is definitely your power button, on and off. This rocker here functions for many different things. You can scan through music. You can turn up and down the volume. You can go up and down in a menu. The play button gets you into certain sections of a menu. It also is your play and pause. This is like your system button here, and then this goes backwards in the menu that you're looking at. All right, using the rocker control, there was definitely some other things that I wanted to look at real quick. So if I go and I press the play button, you see how you can dive into your menu, and then your back button will take you back. So we're back into our main menu. It always seems to default on your music playback. Again, if I click the system button, it just takes you into system settings. But there are other settings. There's playback controls too. So I wanted to go in and look at some of these because I know this came up with the other MP3 player that I reviewed. So you do have album art. Currently it's disabled. If it's disabled, you see the cassette mechanism. If it's enabled, you will see the album art. Using the, there's a volume limiter. You also have loop settings, various equalizers. To be honest, I thought that the disabled sounded the best. There's all these different filters. I just left it on fast roll off. This is your gain adjustment, high and low. I had it set to high, and then your fast forward. So in this unit here, you couldn't fast forward, but in this one you can. It's currently set to disabled, but you would just click your play button, move up and down in the menu, click your play button to select it, and then you would do the back button to go back. All right, so if I happen to select the folder or the file browser section, and let me just select an album really quick. We'll do the Journey Greatest Hits Volume 2. The order of the music that is in here is not correct. I don't know why it's not correct here. However, all right, now if I'm searching through my albums from the music folder and I click play to enter greatest hits, you're going to notice that the order is now correct. So I'm not sure why the order under, if I go back, this option is different than the one that's in the folder option, but I don't know. Maybe it's sorting things differently. I did not see a menu control on that. Not a big deal. But honestly, I do love the animation. I mean, let's be honest. If I go and I click the play button and it looks like a cassette is spinning, you know, the reels. No, the tape does not change sides. You don't see more tape on the take-up reel than you do the supply reel. If I go into music settings and let's say I want to select the album art. Now if I go back, now you'll see that it doesn't default to the cassette. It actually just shows the album art with the music information to the side. All right, so the one thing that I don't like about the SnowSky is how light it is. So this one is all metal. This one is all plastic. So let's see what the weight difference is. If we measure the SnowSky, 1.9 ounces. If we measure the iMunsa, 2.6. Not a drastic difference, but definitely this feels better in the hand as far as weight is concerned compared to the SnowSky. But, you know, again, as far as holdability, I think they're about the same. I do like where these buttons are where my thumb is at, where this one here, it's all touch capacitive. So these physical buttons definitely make a better difference. And obviously the screen is way better. If we happen to get the power on here, you can see that this one here is just, it's okay. I mean, it does what it needs to do. I also did want to mention, because this is a USB-A to USB-C connection, I did use an adapter and it did connect correctly to the device. So it would work as either a USB drive on the desktop or as a DAC. Speaking of DAC, let me show you that real quick. So you can see I have the cable plugged into the USB-A. We'll bring this over here and we'll plug this in. And you kind of have to be quick about this. So you can go back and forth with your volume rocker and then select USB DAC. And if I hit the play button, I now select that. The Echo Mini is showing up as one of my sound devices. I would select that. And then obviously here, I would just plug in my headphone, whether that's the standard 3.5 or the 4.4 millimeter jack. I can listen to my music and I would have a higher quality audio card to listen to whatever is on my laptop. All right, as a bonus, because I know somebody is going to mention it in the comments, yes, I opened it up. I figured we'd take this apart and we'd take a look at the layout of the board itself. All right, I lifted up this piece here and I'm going to gently pull this out if I can. And I'm probably never going to get this back right, but ooh, that's a tight fit too. All right, so there's the screen. Nothing on the back there to say anything about the screen. We have our battery here that looks like probably glued to the bottom. All right, looks like we have 3 more screws. We've got one here, and one there. So because of the headphone jacks, you kind of have to pull the board that way. And here is the underside of that board. And here we do have, looks like our antenna. There is your rest of the board itself. It looks like we have a rock chip here, and then I can barely read that. SECA328, I don't know, and then we have some other numbers, but
I'll go ahead and we'll get that zoomed in on the video.
And yeah, this battery is adhered to the back of the case, but it is nice to know that we could replace the battery if need be. All right, so what are my final thoughts and rating of this particular product? Well, we'll discuss the final thoughts here when we take it back to the studio, but let's go with the rating here. Style and design, out of 2, I'm giving it a 1.5. Quality control, I had no issues with it whatsoever. The only thing that I had was that stupid USB-A to C cable when I was using just the power supply version of that cable. That didn't work. That was totally my fault. So quality control, I'm giving it 2 out of 2. The packaging and build quality, I mean, what do you expect? It's a tiny device. I think they did a great job. They have a decent box quality. You had that foam around the unit itself. And then just this particular unit, I mean, it's well built. And, you know, while it's all plastic, it's decent. I like it. So we're going to give that 1.5 out of 2 points on that. And then overall performance, it's an MP3 player. Just like this here, while I don't think I like this interface as much, this also works. I think because of the audio quality that this one puts out, I liked it. So out of 4, I'm giving it 3.5. So that's 8.5 points out of 10 for the SnowSky from Fiio. That's my take on the SnowSky Echo Mini, portable high-resolution music player from Fiio. When compared to the iMunsa MP3 player reviewed a while back, I would consider this player to be a step up in some ways and a step backward in one other way. Let me explain. For the step up functions, let's face it, the music and system settings are much better. Setting up my Bluetooth headphones was easier, and the built-in DAC worked flawlessly, which is something the other MP3 player does not have. The sound quality from my music I played seems a bit cleaner when compared to the iMunsa player, and the tactile buttons right here were much better than the capacitive touch controls. Now, there is the one area where the iMunsa wins, and that's the all-metal case. There's a bit more weight, which makes it feel more substantial, while the SnowSky music player is lightweight due to the all-plastic body. However, in the end, I think the SnowSky music player from Fiio is a better choice for the extra money. Well, that's a wrap for today. If you found this episode helpful and informative, could you just take one little moment and click the thumbs up icon and get subscribed if you haven't been subscribed yet. To watch another episode, you can click either here or here. And until next time, I'm going to see you again for another episode of Hey, What's Next?